this world.
No, well, that's the thing. Well, it's everybody dreams of the utopia, but the problem is humans have free will. So you can create all the laws you want to create this absolute angelic heavenly utopia where no bad happens, but the reality is if humans are involved, bad is inevitably going to happen.
We need to just identify them, like if they should be able to get a gun or not.
Right, exactly. If you have a history of mental instability,
correct.
Right, you should not be allowed to get it. There needs to be a counterbalance. It's not a free-for-all.
So are you team Elon or team Trump here?
I am team whatever makes sense. Elon and Trump are masters, like PhD master level media control. So whenever you see a tweet or a comment, I always look for the why, not the what.
A gunman showed up with multiple legally purchased guns, and it was a transfer. Fired through the windows and killed 2 children, and dozens more were injured.
I don't care if you're trans. I don't care what you believe in. As long as you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. I'm not going to tell you how to think. You don't tell me how to think. I'm good with that. I'm trying to put a framework around why something like this would happen, right? So they would be like, okay, nobody believes me, nobody loves me, but on the church side, it's all, God loves everybody, but like, well, God didn't love me enough, and so therefore I'm gonna go out and do this thing.
So people are watching, of course, Trump's health. There were photos of bruises on his hands, swelling in his legs, but then you have this wave of rumors that Trump is dead.
So there's an episode of The Simpsons where Trump is dead. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the N2N podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. N2N, also known as the Ninja Prolific Ninja by my family and friends, and because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the N2N podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning, the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Today, we have a very special episode, but before we do that, I want to start the episode as I start every morning. When I wake up every morning, I thank God and the universe for the opportunity to be great, the opportunity to inspire just one person, and hopefully that's you. And with that, I want to thank everybody out there for now almost over 3.5 years of putting this podcast and this content out. Thank you all for supporting, liking, commenting, and especially sharing the content. And, I do this episode on my own dime, on my own time, on my own money with this team here, whom you're about to meet very soon. And so with that, we cannot grow this show without your support. And we do this on a karmic exchange, which means if you learn something from this episode or any other episode, that means you owe me a karmic debt. And the way to repay that is to simply just share the show. And so to do that, I like to say, if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. And we have been growing substantially, and we continue to grow with your help. So with that, restore the karmic exchange. When you learn about something from this episode, which I know you will, please do share the show or any other show, short form, long form, whatever the case may be. Share it with your friends so hopefully you too can help us inspire billions across the planet live to their fullest controllable potential. Now, with respect to this episode, we are bringing back something, not bringing back, but refreshing something that we've done before and haven't done in a long time. We have very different episodes or types of episodes. Mostly it's me giving a soliloquy called, Prolific Life, where I talk about 10, 15 minutes about some topic on growth, success, self-improvement, something like that. Sometimes we have Prolific Q&A, where I have a co-host come on board. We talk about questions and answers about relevant things to success. And then we have now Prolific POV, Prolific Point of View, where I have my co-host and producer and guy that's been with me since the beginning, Arib Mirza, with Focus Graphics, Focus Vid, on the episode today with Prolific POV, where we talk about 1 or 2 or 3 or more current event topics and giving you my opinions and thoughts on that specific topic. Hopefully you agree, maybe you don't. Either way, it creates conversation, what I call constructive dialogue, because as in one of my prior episodes, the truth requires friction, and we're bringing the smoke and the friction. In the last episode, of course, sometimes we have a guest, which I'm bringing you a guest next week. But here we are today with my man, Arib Mirza. It's been a long time, looking clean, looking fresh.
Yeah, it's been 9 months.
You hit the blow dryer this morning, bro. I know. Looking clean in your new car. Like, what the hell? I think I'm paying you too much, bro. I'm not going to say what type of car it is, but Arib now has joined the world of exotics. So congratulations, man.
Absolutely.
Glad to have us back here on the Prolific POV. How you been, bro?
I've been
Audience
good.
hasn't heard from you in 9 months. What's been going on?
I've been good. I've been good. Just been busy. I think the last POV we had was 9 months ago, where we talked
Yeah.
about, pre-election, Trump and Kamala and all that. And of course, a lot has happened
Yes,
after that.
a lot has happened, man.
Yeah,
and
and
so
there's-
what have you been busy with? Growing the business?
Yeah, it's just been. I mean, there's just so much going on. Like, of course, growing the business. Like recruiting people. So it's just been. I'm pretty sure you already know how it is. It's kind of like a 24-hour thing.
Yeah.
Just like barely
Yeah.
get time to breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's growing pains, right?
Yeah.
The hardest time in a business and in life is when there's transition. Growth is always that transitionary period.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you actually need to spend money to grow. And so you have to really, you're making that expense, or you're spending that money not knowing if there will be
Exactly.
growth, right?
Exactly.
So now you're stressing, oh man, do I make this
Yeah.
investment or not? What if it doesn't work? And so I think one of the critical things with that is in terms of really true successful entrepreneurs, they are confident when they're facing uncertainty.
Correct.
Maintaining that confidence and the drive while everything is uncertain.
Yeah.
And some people address it. Some great entrepreneurs like, okay, I know it's uncertain, but let's stay focused. And some entrepreneurs I know very successful, they don't even pay attention to the uncertainty. They're so
Numb to it.
they're so they just block it out, and they're so firm in their belief of success that they don't even think about it being uncertain. It's like not a question of uncertainty.
Yeah.
So-
I like to use it's called a pre-mortem method.
Yeah.
So, for example, like I visualized myself getting to that goal and just break it down what it took me to get to that goal.
Okay.
And then what were the failures happen? Why did those failures happen? What were the successes that happened, and how did those happen?
Yeah.
And I
Sounds like
just-
you've been listening to my podcast.
Yeah, and I just we just write those down and we're like,
Okay.
okay, we just need to do this. Like
Okay.
it doesn't matter. Like
It
how
needs
it's-
to happen. I love it,
just-
man. Okay, so that's another day. That's a prolific Q&A day.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
this topic. But let's talk about POV and what's going on in the world, because obviously
Absolutely.
there's a lot going on in this world.
100%. There's a lot of shootings happening, a lot of political events happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start off with a local story.
Okay.
So the story, of course, out of Houston, an 11-year-old, his name is Julian Guzman, was playing, like he was just doing like a ding-dong ditch prank, like, just ringing bells and running away.
Yeah.
And it turns out the homeowner wasn't that happy about it. And it's an 11-year-old kid. He literally came out of his home and fired shots and hit him in the back and just literally killed him. And then Julian was, of course, like filming on his phone, and the shooting is literally on the camera. So the founders gave people the right to bear arms to protect against tyranny. But now, like, are we just kind of like so far that the original intent that kids are dying over pranks are like are guns about liberty anymore, or is it just kind of like fear? So I guess the question is more about, like, should guns be even a thing here in the United States? So it's a gun control question.
So I've not seen the full video. I've heard of the story. Now, there's a lot of issues here floating. Obviously, there's gun rights, and then it filters down to the specifics of this particular episode happening in Texas. So gun rights is protected by the Second Amendment, of course. I'm a proponent of gun rights because gun rights was not really designed to thwart criminalization. The gun rights Second Amendment was to prevent overzealous government.
No.
So you have to arm your citizens in order to protect as a control against overpowering government. Okay, so that is the theory of the Second Amendment. Okay, so that I'm 100% in belief with, because if you go back to the COVID lockdowns, which country was the one that put up the biggest fight as it related to the lockdowns itself?
Correct.
And that's America, right? Because I don't know what the numbers are, but there's hundreds of millions of gun owners across the country, right? But when you look at countries where there are no gun ownership rights, that was when the government overreach was the most occurring. Talking about England, talking about Australia, talking about New Zealand, talking about these European countries where the citizens don't get to own guns.
Yeah.
And that's where the government overreached the most, putting, the unvaccinated into like basically concentration camps. So individual liberties balanced against overreaching government is where the Second Amendment comes in, which I am a full supporter of. Now, in Texas, they have this law where it's called the Castle Doctrine, where you're able to protect your home and your property and your safety of you and your family members with equal reasonable force. It allows you to bear arms, right? But the key here is equal reasonable force. So if someone's coming in with a gun, yeah, you're damn right, I'm going to shoot them, right? Somebody's going to come in threatening my family with physical violence, with knives or whatever, I'm going to shoot them. But if it's, in this case, an 11-year-old just, what do you call it? Ringing the doorbell.
Yeah.
What is it?
Ding dong
dash, ditch, whatever. Man, I'm too old for this. We used to just throw eggs at houses and run when I was growing up. Yeah. So we didn't hang around just dinging, not ringing the doorbell. Yeah, but we don't know the specific instances, because I've seen 11-year-olds these days square up to grown men offering to fight them. Right? I've seen 11-year-olds rolling around with guns. No. Right? So in this particular case, I think you really have to look at the facts of what happened and the circumstances around it. Like did the kid ring the doorbell, wait till the door opened, and then take and run off? And it sounds like he got shot in the back. So did the owner take aim and kind of, obviously by that time, well, I don't know. By this time you could see that it was an 11-year-old, but some 11-year-old kids are big these days, right? So it could have been mistaken as an adult. However, if he was running off, there was no immediate threat. Okay. Right? So was it reasonable to shoot him in the back if that's what happened here? Yeah. Right? So it's a balance. I think this one, it's hard to say. You can't make a overall generalization of what's right or wrong. It's a very specific to this case scenario. But I completely agree with gun rights, with protection of your property, protection of the safety of your family. I think it goes back to individual specifics of this case, but individual gun ownership, I think, is a great counterbalance. Because even statistically, even if you look at cities where they have the most gun violence, it's where they have the most gun control laws. Yeah. Chicago, St. Louis, other jurisdictions where you're not supposed to own a gun, but yet that's where the most gun crime is, right? Because criminals, do not follow the law. Correct. So you have law-abiding citizens now at a disadvantage against people that inherently don't follow the law. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, and we do get some arguments for that. It's like, hey, why don't you look at Korea? Why don't you look at Japan? Why don't you look at countries like China, where they don't have all these guns? They're against guns. But the thing with those countries is, hey, if you like that country so much, just move there.
Yes.
And the second part is, they don't have the legal and department justice system as robust as ours. If they even suspect you in some of those countries, they'll just put you in the jail.
They're more strict on their laws. I think in Taiwan, you spit on the concrete and you got to do 5 days in jail or something like
Correct.
that.
They're not as lenient.
Or in Middle East countries, you steal something, you get your hand cut off. I mean, the consequences are more apparent and real.
Correct.
Than in the United States.
So it's not an apples to apple comparison.
No, it's absolutely not. I totally agree. So overall, I'm a I'm a gun ownership supporter.
Yeah. However, I do think it just somehow, and of course there's a gray area in every law, I guess. People just need to be kind of a little more. We need to just identify them, if they should be able to get a gun or not.
Right, exactly. If you have a history of mental instability,
correct.
Right, you should not be allowed to get it. There needs to be a counterbalance. It's not a free for all, but the fundamental right to own a firearm, I think, is good.
Yeah.
But you have to qualify that with background checks. And I mean, for me, to carry my, in Texas you have CHL, concealed handgun license, although you have open carry, but you still have to go through the background check. You still have to go through the screening. You have to go through a training program. All these things, gun safety, all these things you have to go through. So, it shouldn't be like a free for all. It shouldn't be willy nilly. Okay, I'm gonna go buy a gun. But at the same time, like you said, there's a counterbalance.
No.
But I think what America was founded on, and the idea of individual liberties, pursuit of happiness, all the things in the Constitution, I think gun ownership against an overreach of government is required.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think maybe perhaps there should be kind of a limit on the type of guns you can buy, I guess. Like the rifle.
I don't know, man. The Second Amendment, the Second Amendment in theory says, if I think the Second Amendment, and I don't know the exact phrasing or whatever it is, it's the you should own whatever amount of force that the government has. So in theory, everybody should be entitled to a nuclear bomb, but obviously that's not the case, or a laser weapon or something, although that's not the case. So, you know, you got to remember, it's people that kill people, not guns.
Correct.
People kill people. It's just like a car. People kill people in cars. People kill people on bicycles, motorcycles, with a pencil. You know, the pencil doesn't kill people, but, you know, so it's people that kill people. And so, yes.
Yeah, and I think if you want to visualize kind of like a super safe world, then I would just imagine you guys are driving like Teslas, and you're not even driving the car. It's just kind of like automatic driving. You have no guns. You're pretty much tracked all the time. So this perfect safe world isn't the most fun to be in as well.
No, well, that's the thing. Well, it's everybody dreams of the utopia, but the problem is humans have free will.
Correct.
So you can create all the laws you want to create this absolute, you know, angelic, heavenly utopia where no bad happens. But the reality is if humans are involved, bad is inevitably going to happen, right? Correct. So it's a nice idea, but impractical in application, in my view.
All right, let's move on to the next
I don't know. What do you think? Put them in the comments below. Do you like guns? Are you against guns? Do guns kill people, or do people kill people? Put them in the comments below.
Yeah, a lot of clips out of that one.
Yeah. That's good.
Are you following the Musk and Trump breakup?
They're back together again.
Yeah, so
right?
So Elon poured almost $300 million into like Trump's 2024 campaigns, of course. And he co-led the new Doge party. But now he's completely out. He called Trump's big bill a disgusting abomination, and said it ruined his efficiency reforms, and went online saying that Trump is in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
So this was a pretty big story.
Okay.
So I'm curious.
That's a while ago.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Are you like? But it's still happening though too. Like even with the Epstein files, like it's still like a recent story came out yesterday as well.
Yeah. So they opened the file, like 32,000 documents or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So are you team Elon or team Trump here? And more broadly, what do you make of this breakup between the two most powerful, polarizing people in the country?
Listen, man. I'm for no team.
Okay.
I'm for team makes sense. If it makes sense,
Team Kamala.
No. That don't make sense. That's team of joy and happiness, which I get, but in the real world of results, you know, joy and happiness don't do much. I am team whatever makes sense, and what makes sense is obviously government spending is out of control. Yeah. Like way out of control. The interest on debt is way out of control. You know, there's an idea yesterday. The market was expecting an interest rate cut, so actually interest rates went up on an interest rate cut, which means there's more inflation to go up. You know, they're very polarizing men. They're very successful men. Obviously, to get to that level of success, you need to have a very overbearing. I wouldn't say overbearing. You have to have a very strong ego and self-belief in that what you think is correct.
Yeah.
Because you got to imagine, on the way up for both of these guys, how many people told them no? And had they listened to one person that said no, they wouldn't be where they are.
Correct. And both of them
are like that. Right? Trump in the real estate world in Manhattan, where you got to do. I think we talked about this before. You got to deal with crooked politicians, the mafia, the union bosses. Yeah. You got to deal with a bunch of shit to even get your building built, much less that successful as Trump is. So he's had to walk through walls, and similarly with Elon, where, you know, he gets fired from PayPal, or what I think the story is on a family vacation. The board overthrew him and kicked him out of PayPal. You know, a weekend away, you know, a good buddy of mine is real close to him, talking about a story where they were 1 weekend away from closing down SpaceX and Tesla because they had no money.
I know that story.
Yeah. I mean, you had to go through a lot, and to have survived all that, obviously every time you survive a no or negative aspect or almost failure or surviving a failure, your skin gets thicker and thicker and thicker, till the point where you're wearing a full suit of body armor psychologically and physically to the success. So you're going to have opposing views of what's right and what's wrong. And the big, beautiful bill was wrong in the sense that it created a lot of excess government spending again. Mm-hmm. So what was the whole point of the Doge efficiency? Like, whatever happened to Doge? Like, it was in the news there, and now we don't even know how much money they're saving again. It's kind of what is in the news lately. I'm for team whatever makes sense. So in this instance, I would lean more towards Elon, but I'm in neither team. I would lean towards the principles or standards that Elon was trying to set in terms of government efficiency and spending money properly, which is kind of counterintuitive because with Elon, a lot of his success is through government subsidies, right? So government spending on his companies, okay, I mean, has Doge looked into their spending or his receiving money? And if it's efficient or inefficient, I don't think they have.
Yeah.
So
do you think you should have blasted him online like he did? Or this could have been handled a little more?
It depends. It depends. Elon and Trump are masters.
Yeah.
Like PhD master level media control. So whenever you see a tweet or a comment, for me, I always look for the why, not the what. I see the tweet, or the X or whatever, the post, but I try to understand why. Because they're master media manipulators, both of them. On the one hand, Trump is for marketing his brand, but also on the other hand for his politics. Elon is is very strategic for his brand and his personal brand and his business brands. So when they post when somebody of that level posts something, this is the lesson for business types, is try to understand their psychology, their thinking, and the why they put the words like that or why they reacted that way. Because often it might be the counter effect that they're looking for. Like, let me put out A, but I really want the reaction to be B versus A plus, right? Or alternatively, they want to bring attention to a certain issue, but then when they bring attention to an issue, it's like, okay, how does that attention to that issue benefit them? Right? Although we think Elon would be altruistic and be like, I'm here to save money, but the reality is it's his Doge, it's his department, quote, department. It's his, how does Doge and that team benefit Tesla, SpaceX, AIX, and all of his other companies that he's involved with?
Correct. And I think like most of of course, the big beautiful bill goes against what, like Elon's about. Like, for example, Trump is not like supporting EVs as much.
He threatened to take his subsidies away.
Correct. So I think there's also like a little bit of backstory there too. Me, of course, being a big fan of Musk, I think he could have reacted a little better, like just putting a tweet out on his platform.
Well, you gotta understand, Musk is a bit on. I don't know this for a fact or not, but allegedly he's a little bit on the spectrum, and when you're like that, you look at things differently and reactively differently. Maybe him pointing out the Epstein files with Trump brought the media back to the Epstein files, right? Because it got lost in the news for a minute.
That's fair.
It's like, who knows if this is like pro wrestling, where they're in the back like, yo, bro, I'm gonna tweet this, you tweet this. Okay, when I tweet this, you tweet that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows, dude? We're not in these rooms, we're not in these conversations. What we see so that's why it's like, why are they doing these things? What is the back scene or the backdrop from which these posts are coming out? Because things can be orchestrated, things can be produced. Management of public perception is a big, big business. I mean, then they're both master marketers, so who knows, man? Yeah,
I mean, I think this drama has come down to a little bit of a closure now because
it has. I think
they've apologized.
They're bosom buddies again, man.
But it's just like up and down.
Yeah, bosom buddies.
Yeah, I think they're both.
But every relationship is up and down, man.
Yeah,
nothing's ever, they're not holding hands into the sunset for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there are some rumors where like Elon's just trying to take control of the power because he can't run for president because he's not born in the U.S. I don't know about those either. Yeah.
I don't think he has aspirations for that level of. Yeah. I don't think he would want to run the presidency.
I think he already has his hands.
I mean, his eyes are set on Mars, so
All right.
Why be a president when you can go to Mars?
Let's talk about Trump's health. So people are watching, of course, Trump's health. There were photos of bruises on his hands, swelling in his legs, and we'll of course put images on top. And the official line is chronic venous insufficiency. Of course, you have a medical background.
Yep.
But then you have this wave of rumors that Trump is dead, especially when J.D. Vance started acting like he was ready to step in. So here's the angle I'm thinking about. Like last year, a lot of people criticized Kamala Harris becoming president after Biden, saying that people didn't choose her. But if Trump dies and Vance becomes president, isn't it the same thing? or do you see it differently because Trump voters technically voted for Vance on the ticket too?
Well, okay, so the the Simpsons predicts. So there's an episode of The Simpsons where Trump is dead.
Wow.
But who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, Simpsons. If you want to know the future, watch Simpsons.
Watch The Simpsons. At these high levels of politics, who knows, man? The difference. So your question was about the Vance and Kamala thing. The difference was, are you talking about when Kamala replaced Biden on the ticket?
So the premise of the question is like people were criticizing Kamala that she wasn't chosen. She just stepped in because Biden was sick. So isn't it the same thing that Vance is stepping in because Trump is sick?
Okay, no, because that's two different things. Mm-hmm. One is that I think the Kamala Biden issue was during the election.
Correct.
Right? So she wasn't primaried to become the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. So I think that is wrong. Like once Biden was declared incapable of running for the Democratic ticket, mm-hmm. I think there should have been a primary again, a vote by the people to see who should replace him.
Yeah.
Right? It's not an automatic thing.
Absolutely.
Right now, if Biden had died during the election process, inherently Kamala would become the president because for that period of time until the election. Yeah, but still, she needed to have been primaried to be the nominee.
Yeah.
Okay. In this particular instance, there's no election ongoing. And so the Constitution says if the president dies or is incapacitated or whatever, the vice president becomes president. So that's the law. So there's no choice. There's no electing Vance to become president. It's the law that the vice president becomes president.
Correct.
Two different apples and oranges scenario. I think when it comes to an election time, there should be a, quote, democratic process to find out who's the best nominee in that particular party to become the nominee choice. But I think the uproar in the past election was because Kamala was never primaried. And there was an assumption he's vice president, so therefore she's got to be the nominee. I don't think that's accurate because there's no law about that, mm-hmm. right? The Democratic committee gets to decide how it happens, and maybe there was a decision, well, okay, they just put her out there. But I think if I were a Democratic party member, I'd kind of be pissed. I'm like, what if I wanted Bernie Sanders back, or I wanted whoever else, Shapiro or anybody else that could possibly become president? And so that's the reason why I think it was almost a landslide win for Trump is because of the disenfranchisement. Yeah, people are like, well, fuck this.
Yeah, because even the blue side, I think that's what the question is asking as well, is like people didn't want Kamala on that board either way. Like, of course, if it was between Biden or Kamala, like Biden still would have.
And it goes back to authenticity, right? I've talked about this a lot. Like the highest connecting vibe you can have is being authentic. And during that, in my opinion, during that election process, everything about Kamala, how she was positioned by the party or whoever's the marketer or whatever, was totally inauthentic. It's like, oh, I can bring Beyonce, vote for me. Like, that makes no sense, right? Whereas going back then, if you recall, Trump was like, the border, economy, inflation, real things that people cared about.
Very bad campaign.
Yeah. So, but I think it's not her fault because people actually managed the campaign, not her. And so I think it was the people that are around her that kind of screwed that up. But even within the Blue Party itself, I think people felt like, well, what the fuck? Like, we didn't primary anybody. That's not who I wanted. And so they may have given up on the election process. They're like, fuck this. Let's wait for the next round.
What about his health? Like, do you have any thoughts about, just him?
I don't know how old he is. I think he's like approaching 80.
Yeah.
Who knows if he's on blood thinners? You can bruise easier. If he has venous insufficiency, that's obviously a cardiovascular thing.
He's 79.
He's 79, almost 80. It happens, man. Like, he's an active guy, plays golf a lot, but I don't know what meds he's on. I don't know, whatever. I know a lot of different meds can cause easy bruising if he's on a blood thinner. Doesn't get a lot of sleep, so his body doesn't recover as much.
He's doing a lot.
Yeah, he does a lot. I think he does like 20-hour days or whatever.
He's doing way too much. Like he's meeting with all these world leaders. He's already met like the Ukraine's the president twice.
Yeah.
Which is also a funny story because the first time they met him, they were kind of like
They kicked him out, bro.
Yeah, they kicked him out, and they were also dissing how he dressed.
Yeah.
And the second time they visited
They're also
him,
dissing how he dressed.
he actually came prepared. He was on all in a suit and stuff, and then Trump was literally patting him down like a little boy. I was like, hey.
Yeah, but his suit was all black, like
Yeah,
it looked like a funeral situation. I have no idea, man. Maybe he's like referencing like the dark side or whatever. But no, I mean on the one, and that's the entrepreneurial kind of segue here. Is like health is important.
Yeah.
Right? You can be the president, but your health sucks. You're not going to do much. So you have your business you're going after, and everybody has enthusiasm, and you want to all in all the time, which is true. But there's no balance. But at the same time, you got to be cognizant of your health. You got to go ebb and flow. You got to go, okay, I feel good. Let me push it, 15, 20-hour day. And then, man, I need a little bit of a rest. Let me get what's done and rest my body and my mind.
Yeah.
It's unsustainable to go full speed all the time, which it looks like he does.
No, he's treating it as it's his last term in the office, which it is.
What it is, which you're already almost 2 years in, right?
Yeah.
So or a year and a half in, and so like the lesson here is you can push yourself too far. Yeah. Where you become ineffective, and so I would rather see a steady flow of work, or maybe a little bit of delegation. But again, at that level of success, who do you trust can get it done better than yourself? Yeah. I have that problem. Yeah. Like I have a problem delegating because it's like, dude, I'm gonna tell somebody how to do it, and it's likely I'm gonna be unsatisfied with how they do it. So then I got to go back in and correct it. And then it's like, fuck, I should have just done it myself to begin with. Yeah. And so the other counterbalance is if you own a business or if you're in that position and care enough, no one will care about your business as much as you.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And so, there will be people that do care, but it's never 100% as much as you. Like you might find a business partner that, but if it's your idea, your deal, you won't find anybody that cares as much as you.
And I think you're in trouble if you don't care as much as other people do.
You got to care more. You got to care more.
You have to care
because
more.
Your care sets the standard for everybody else. So if you care 100%, and nobody else cares as much as you, people witnessing you at 100%, they're going to try to get up there, but at most the reality is they're probably at 60-70%. Yeah. Right? Of performance because they don't care as much as you. They're not going to do the extra, right? They're not going to put in the extra time or the extra thought, or they might be, okay, this is good enough to just get it done. I have that in my firm. I have lawyers that make good money, but they're not going to care about a case or a situation as much as I will. They won't look at all the angles. They're like, this is enough to get it done, okay, right? And whereas I'd be like, no, let's. Because they don't know how much it took to get in there. Correct. Right? How much time and investment and all the worry and the struggle. They find themselves in a situation where this is pretty cush. I'm going to make good money. I just got to do enough where the company's making money and I'm making my money good enough versus like, let me go all in so I can get filthy rich even though they're getting rich. And you get kind of haters like that, right? Yeah. Why am I putting all this work to get super rich, but that guy's going to be super, super, super rich? Well, motherfucker, I've been in this for like 25 years, right? You weren't there when I had $1,000 in the bank.
Yeah, this is very.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a very interesting point. And this was the fourth letter of John D. Rockefeller. It's a book, like 38 letters or something. And he literally said, you can decide if it's your heaven or hell. Like when you walk into work, if you choose to love it, it's always going to be heaven. Yeah. Because you're thinking about all the positives and like you're doing well for yourself. If you can also simultaneously make it hell if you're always talking about, like this guy's making more money than me. So let's say if it's a coal miner and he's digging out all the gold. He's just thinking about like his boss making all the gold, and he's just like, why do I have to, come in here, do all this work? Well, I'm not making anything. He's making everything. But the thing they're not looking for is like you have that opportunity because of that person in the first place. Yeah. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah. Well, you got to look at it like this. The guy that owned the mine put in millions of dollars, not knowing if there's any gold.
Correct.
Right.
He took the risk.
Yeah. Right. So it's the same thing. Like, oh man, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's how much does it take to get a pencil, which costs like 5 cents, to your desk? Think about that. The wood that has to get chopped down, the lead that has to be mined, the metal that has to be formed for the eraser, the rubber that has to be extracted from the tree, reformed, refined, processed, and then shipped internationally, across oceans to get to the plant that takes the wood, takes the lead, takes the rubber, takes the steel, and puts it on the assembly line to make a 10-cent pencil. Right?
It's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work, time, and investment. Multiple thousands of people, multiple laws, taxes, all this stuff just to get a pencil to your desk that's 10 cents.
Correct.
Right? And so people only see the pencil. They never see what it took to get to that pencil. And so that's why people have a hard time with capitalism, because they're like, man, it's just a 10-cent pencil. Like, everybody should have a pencil. But no, dude.
Yeah.
What about the people that invested the money and took the risk way back when?
Yeah.
And all the, people that have died chopping down the tree to get the basil wood, basil wood? I don't know what you call it. The wood that makes up a pencil to the pencil. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
even with capitalism, people have this ideal scenario of like, okay, billionaires shouldn't exist, and soon millionaires too. But I heard someone say this. They were like, even if, like, let's say you were to divide everyone's money equally on every single person on this planet, it will still go towards the people who were billionaires or millionaires before, because they just understand how to utilize that better. They just have the principle.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it just goes back to the beginning of the show. You can have an idea of this utopia where everybody's angels, butterflies, and rainbows and unicorns. But once you put humans in there, and that's the whole biblical thing, free will, free choice.
Correct.
Right? Free will, free choice. Right? Humans have emotions. Humans have rational thought. And so let's say there's a basic universal income, right? But inherently, I can't change that I'm a go-getter. I can't change that.
Yeah.
So when let's say everybody gets paid 80 grand. I'm 80 grand, and we're all doing the same job. But then I'm like overproducing at my job, and then I see somebody over there taking, 4 30-minute naps in the day, also making 80 grand. I'm going to be pissed.
Correct.
I'm going to be pissed. Like, yo, bro, like, so I would want to opt out of that system. Or I'd be like, yo, bro, you take all the nap you want, but I take 40,000 of your 80,000.
I'll work more.
Yeah. That is human nature. You cannot, as many thousands of laws you can possibly create to create this utopia, you cannot legal out human nature. Yeah. It's impossible to legal out human nature. You can't. Now, you can condition human nature, right? Propaganda, accepting, there's this rebound on body image. Now we're going back to swimsuit illustrated type models versus the I'm good as
Sydney Sweetie.
Yeah, Sydney Sweetie. Is that her name? I don't know. Yeah. It's swinging kind of back. Yeah. Like I've seen, some Calvin Klein advertisements now that's like the abs and six pack again.
It's flopped.
It's moving back in that direction.
Jaguar.
Yeah. Look at Jaguar. Look at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Jaguar lost, dude. And I'll be fair. I own a Jag. Yeah. Before the rebrand. Okay. But they lost 98%.
It's gone.
Car sales.
Yeah, it's gone.
After the rebrand. You cannot. It's gone. I mean, literally, it's gone. It's gone. I think they sold like 9 cars in the second quarter. Whatever. 2025.
They're
globally or something like that. But that's my point, bro. Like you cannot. You and even in the trying to recondition, there's just you cannot fight you cannot fight natural law.
Correct.
It's in our DNA. It's natural law. As you can temper it for like a period of time, but the pendulum will swing back.
Yeah.
Right? You can try, but it'll swing back.
Yeah, the individuals will stand up.
The individuals, it's inherent, man. It's just inherent. And evil and good and right behavior, all that is part of it. Like you cannot legislate out human nature.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things as well. Like in the United States, and I think all the first world countries, just you're free to do as pleased, but don't force it down people's throat.
Well, just as long as you don't infringe on other people's rights.
Correct. So, for example,
I'm all for whoever you are. in the spectrum of sexual preference,
Correct.
how would you believe a man or a female, whatever you are as an individual,
Yeah,
all
like,
for it.
Yeah, that's your thing. But don't force it down like.
But you cannot,
kids
you
and stuff,
can't,
yeah.
you cannot push it on other people,
Correct.
right? Let everything, and then I think if that happens, then we might get close to utopia.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
like, hey,
yeah.
you be you, I be me, we're good.
Yeah.
We'll collaborate together where we want to, and we don't have to. I don't have to accept your truth. You don't have to accept mine. We understand that there's different versions of the truth. Although natural law is the only truth. Physics is the only truth. But like, I think if we get there, now we're getting close.
Yeah.
Now we're getting real close to like this utopia. But where you're like, well, it's got to be this way, and if you don't agree with me, then you know that will never happen.
Yeah.
Never happen.
Yeah, it's just in human nature to not
Yep.
let that happen. Yeah. All right, one last one.
Okay, let's roll. This is good, man. No wonder, man. We're making up for 9 months. No wonder, bro.
All right, the last
Too
one
busy
is,
driving around in that exotic car and looking good.
I barely get to drive. Okay. All right, so the last one is the Minneapolis church school shooting. I'm not sure if you heard about that one.
Familiar, but I don't know the details.
Yeah. So on August.
Man, we've been filing 900 cancer cases this last 2 weeks, so I've been kind of out of pocket.
Oh, fair enough. On August 27, during a school mass at the Education Catholic Church, a gunman showed up with multiple legally purchased guns, and it was a trans person. Fired through the windows and killed 2 children, and dozens more were injured, including 18 children and 3 elderly parishioners. And then the shooter died by suicide. It's an act so devastating it feels unimaginable, yet tragically, this has all become too familiar. What are your thoughts on this story? So, of course, stories like these, when it comes to like a trans person doing this, is becoming more relevant. Like it's becoming kind of like a theme now, and people are highlighting this as more of a sickness and being accepted as an actor of hatred for these people to kind of like to go out and do this. So just want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, man. It goes back to the gun thing right before, which again I agree that everybody should have the right to bear arms.
Correct.
But also, what we talked about is there needs to be some type of mental stability, sufficiency, minimum requirement. Going to what I just said, I don't care if you're trans. I don't care what you believe in. As long as you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. I'm not going to tell you how to think. You don't tell me how to think. I'm good with that.
Yep.
However, the more recent shootings, I think of the last 3 or 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, have involved people with either trans or, self-identification issues, right? And that, I think, in itself, and I'm not saying all trans people are like that, but it's an indication of the inability to live in your own skin. Let's call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's a health issue, mental health issue or not, it's you're not comfortable with who you are, right? Right? You're whether it's biological, chemical, psychiatric or not, you're just not comfortable with who you are, therefore you're transitioning. Right? And that in itself says something is not on balance. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying something is not balanced with you believing or being comfortable with who you are. Therefore, you're trying to be or transition into somebody else who you think you are.
Yeah.
So with that, I will say this. If you are a male and you're injected with female hormones, or if you're a female and you're injected with male hormones, your body is not equipped. You don't have the cellular receptors. You don't have the cellular composition at the microcellular level to take on that much exogenous outside chemicals. And I don't know if this person was on hormone therapy or not, but it's a disconnect. And it's just like if a dude takes on, have you ever seen a weightlifter taking on steroids? They get this thing called roid rage. They go out of their mind. They want to go fight everybody. Like they're out of their, because their body and their mental receptors aren't ready for that level of testosterone. And they get angry and they get acne all over their body, and they
hacking the system.
Yeah, it's messing up their system.
Yeah.
And they can't think straight. And really, look it up. Roid rage, ROID rage. Same thing can happen when you're transitioning. If its hormone balance can affect how you think, can affect how you respond. And so, of course, what is the political, I don't say politics because that's a personal, what is the societal structure that is most conservative? Allegedly. Religious structures. Right? So if I'm uncomfortable with who I am as a person and I want to transition, and the other side is saying, well, God made you who you are, then going back to the trans person, they may be like, well, God messed me up because I'm not who I want to be.
Yeah, or God loves me for who I am.
Right? And so let me go to this church and start killing people who believe in God. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? That might be the I have no idea, but I'm trying to put a framework around why something like this would happen.
Yeah.
Right? So they would be like, okay, I'm on hormone therapy. Whatever. I'm getting I don't want to say victimized, but I'm being perceived as an outlier. Nobody believes me. Nobody loves me for who I am. But on the church side, it's all, family unit. It's all conservative thought. It's all God loves everybody. But then the trans person's like, well, God didn't love me enough, and so therefore I'm going to go out and do this thing. So, man, it goes back to fundamentally personal belief. Everybody can believe whatever they want. Hopefully this podcast doesn't cause me to lose viewers, but it goes back to some level of mental sufficiency in order to own a firearm. Yeah. Now, the flip side is in the heat of the moment, right? In the heat of the moment, if a quote law-abiding citizen had a firearm, could you have taken this person out before that person harmed other people? Right?
Yeah.
Right? I know a lot of churches don't allow firearms on campus. So
full circle.
Yeah. So a lot of, again, church campus, whatever cathedrals don't allow firearms on campus. And so then no one was there to stop the dude.
Correct.
Right? Until the authorities came and then he killed himself. So it's the same thing. Like, okay, where do we draw the line as a society? I mean, had there been somebody there trained, and I'm sure there were, military people usually go to church, law enforcement people usually go to church. Yeah. So if there were people trained and having their firearm, could that have prevented?
Correct. And
right?
I think instead of, sending money to Ukrainians and stuff, we need to have kind of like people in place who can actually protect, like a security guard or somebody who, of course, can tone down these situations, because I think it's naive of us to just say, like, let's just not have this happen, because it will happen.
It'll happen, man.
Yeah.
It goes back to the theme of this podcast, it seems. You cannot legislate out human nature.
Yeah.
You cannot. Yeah, I mean, it's a bell-shaped curve, right? Maybe one or two standard, like 70% standard deviations away.
Yeah.
But the 30 to 20% of this out here on the fringes, you can't make laws against that.
Correct.
Right?
There will be tsunamis.
There will be tsunamis. There will be earthquakes. There will be shit like this, which is unfortunate, and I'm saddened for the affected families and the guy or gal, whoever it was, that committed suicide. But
absolutely.
But there is a pathway. It's just, do we have the willingness to go there? Same thing like business. There is a pathway to the goal, but are you willing to go there?
And also, I think within the trans community, I'm not that as well versed. I've just seen some pages, did some of the research, where they just kind of like openly promote, like, get angry why you're not accepted, get angry because like you're not XYZ. So I think it's also one of those things where they actually do get angry that they're not being accepted within the society, and they just end up shooting.
But again, it's that expectation of forcing other people to like who you are.
Correct.
That can never happen.
Yeah.
It can never happen. Like, just understand, if you want to be different, you're going to be viewed as different. Not different in a bad or negative way. It's just different than the average. I'm viewed as different in a lot of ways.
How?
And I'm like, the drive, I'm just viewed as different. I mean, and purposefully so. Like, I really don't care what other people think. I'm going to do what I do, what I think is right for me.
It's boring being the same, I guess.
People take comfort in being like everyone else. I mean, people take comfort in blending in, so unnoticeable. But for me, like, I understand where I want to take myself. I will be looked at oddly, but that's success, right? If you want, there's ordinary and there's extraordinary. Extraordinary. I think we talked about this
Yeah.
in a podcast.
Yeah, that was a podcast.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so that extra part is, pathway to success. But it's not like, look at me, you must accept me for being extraordinary. That's retarded. Oh, sorry, I guess we shouldn't say retarded. That's a wrong way to think. It should be, I'm just going to do my thing. Well, people don't understand, like, before, the idea of being trans has been around forever. I remember growing up, like, as a kid, and we're talking like 80s, 70s, 80s, and there would be cross-dressers.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, this is kind of interesting, kind of novel and funny and all that, and which was fine. And my dad took me to some burlesque shows where it was cross-dressers.
Didn't think of it much.
Didn't think of it much. It's just, guys having a good time dressing up as women. Okay, cool. But it only became an issue when it started being thrown in people's faces.
Like, accept us.
Accept us. We're here.
Yeah.
Well, who says no one ever accepted you?
Yeah.
Right? We accept you. And so not being satisfied with that and then keep pushing the boundaries, now you're getting absurd.
Exactly. Like,
Now you're getting, it's like, okay, I already accept you. Like, why you got to go the extra?
Yeah, we accept you. Just don't force it down our kids' throat.
No,
Yeah.
kids, well, just whatever. Be you.
Yeah.
But understand, you being you is going to be. But the truth is, if you accept that you're going to be different and you just live your path, people that you want to accept you will be attracted to that.
Yeah.
And so they don't understand. Well, I don't say they. The misunderstanding here is not seeing that. Why would you want to be accepted by somebody that doesn't like you anyways?
No.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like imaginary world.
It makes no sense versus like, let me just live my path.
Utopia.
Again, it's just live your path as you want to live it authentically, and you will attract the people you want around you anyways. You just do. Right? And so, one thing, going back to the kid that got shot. Okay, the bigger question is, where are the kid's parents?
In terms of what?
Why are you letting your 11-year-old go around door dinging dashing?
I mean, I used to do that too.
I know, but at the same time, see, here's the thing: is in today's social media and all that, kids have not faced consequences like I did. Like if I were door ding dashing and got caught.
To be fair, for someone who did used to do this, like, there were people that got angry and ran out. Like,
Yeah, they ran out, chased me,
Yeah.
took pictures and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were consequences, right? There were consequences. And I think in today's day and age, with social media and all this stuff and the whole everybody gets a trophy idea, there are no real consequences put on, I don't know what generation this is now, but like, let's say if you're 18 years old and younger, not Gen X, that's my generation, bro.
Gen Z.
That was the best generation ever. Past millennials, whatever. And let's say if you're 18 years or younger, you never really faced consequences to no repercussions. So kids these days go out more often, doing outrageous things than what normally would have been accepted in the past. Like, I think there was some video over the weekend where some kid faced up to his teacher and actually pushed him, and the teacher body slammed him.
Damn.
Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, he deserved it, right? So it was a teacher or a bouncer or something. So, yeah, man, sorry to change the subject, but I forgot to mention that on the 11-year-old kids. Like, where are the parents on this?
Yeah, and by the way, we don't support the shooter. Like, of course, what he did was, like, incorrect.
Well, it's never great to take a life.
Yeah,
No, not at all. Not at all. However, we got to understand the facts, to make an opinion on it.
Yeah, I have no idea what generation this is.
I have either.
I know, like, Gen Z is.
I'm
like
just calling it
19
Generation Lost.
Generation lost. All right, cool. That's it.
Man,
That's
that was fun, dude. That was a lot. That's very robust for 9 months out, dude. Glad to be back. Glad you got to listen to a prolific POV where we talk about real world events, share some ideas. Obviously, we share some similar ideas where,
Starting from gun control.
A lot of these things. A little bit more on the conservative social side. However, there's some rational thought. Hopefully, you agree. But if you don't agree, put them in the comments below. Or if you agree, leave them in the comments.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll
comment,
talk
follow,
about
and share, and we'll talk about it and bring it back up in another episode. Again, this is in no way it's just personal opinion only, okay? But with that, I want to thank you all for listening. Glad to be back. Arib, glad to be back. Where can people follow you at?
At Arib Mirza.
Arib, REEBMIRZA. And then also at Focus with a K, FOKUS dot.
Yeah, that's the business
vid.
page. Focus dot. It's content now. Focus.content.
Focus.content. Oh, you changed it up on me, man. 9 months, dude. Shit. So thank you for listening to the show. I'm going to end this episode as I end every day, which is before I close my eyes at night. Thank God in the universe for another day to hopefully have been great, hopefully inspire just one person. Hopefully that's you today. And with that, I want to thank you all for listening. Please do not owe me a karmic debt. Please do like, comment, follow, and share the show. If you're knowledgeable, share the show. That's how we grow. We, as in you and I, and us together. And I definitely know you learned something today. I guarantee it. So please do share the show. And I look forward to bringing another episode very, very soon where we're going to be bringing on more guests, more of this stuff, more Q&A, more relevant ideas for you to grow and reach your goals. Be great today, but be even more grateful. And I'll talk to you very, very soon.